Hello and welcome to this lecture, which I title Getting Found Organically, Spiders, Crawlers, and Indexing. To really start to get your websites and blog sites found organically on the internet, you must have at least a baseline understanding of spiders and web page indexing. The first thing to know is that if a search engine has not internally indexed and stored information about your web page or other online content, searchers using that search engine just will not find you. So how do you get indexed across search engines? Well, there are a few ways that this occurs. First, you can manually access search engines and ask them to index your pages. Before they will do this, and a point to keep in mind though, is that you will probably also need to submit to them your sitemap.xml file as well. Next is where spiders, also known as crawlers, come into the picture. Google has a famous crawler called Googlebot, whose job it is to go out and crawl websites around the internet to get information about them for storage in their search engine database. The indexing process referred to above. When you go into the Google Webmaster Toolkit and submit your sitemap.xml file, and then ask Google to check out your web pages and index them for their search engine database, and you use the Fetches Google tool to do this, by the way, it is the Googlebot crawler that gets the order to go out and get this job done. As the largest search engine on the internet, the Googlebot crawler is kept extremely busy, so don't expect this job to get done on your website immediately. It often can take 2 to 4 weeks before Googlebot gets around to actually processing your submission and crawl request. By the way, it is not just your web page titles, keyword tags, and meta descriptions that get indexed when your website gets crawled. Your content on the page gets crawled and stored and listed within the search engine as well. This means that a top-down scan of your web page text, or some of your web page text, is done. Image titles and alternate titles, anchor text and hyperlinks, etc. are also listed and stored to determine the authority and content value of the web page being crawled. Depending on what the crawler finds on your page, goes a long way to determining how your page will rank within the search engine itself when a searcher is looking to obtain information. In this regard, there are a couple of important tips to keep in mind as you build out your pages. First, make sure you have a few good keyword phrases near the top of your article, blog post, or page text that align with your page title, meta tags, and meta description. Second, it is a good idea to bold these keyword phrases in your text on your page. This makes it easier for the crawlers to spot it as they pay extra attention to title lines within a page when crawling. Bolding this text will help show its importance and relevance to the page and your meta tag descriptions. Third, use anchor text and hyperlinks as well, preferably within the first couple of paragraphs of your content, as you just never know how deep down the page the spider search will go. So help it out in its job as much as you can. It's to your benefit. Do your best to get it to like your page. Next, be sure to try to code your web pages according to the W3C compliance standards, as this is something that these search spiders look for as well. There are many so-called web designers out there in the world today building websites using templates of one form or another. Google and other search engines are aware of this trend, and they have built coding tests into their spiders to separate the men from the boys, so to speak. Basically, they penalize those that are building amateur websites and are rewarding those writing web pages professionally with higher rankings organically within their search engines. Remember that you are competing against millions of other websites out there these days, and everyone is using the same kinds of keywords, meta tag descriptions, page titles, etc. If you want to stand out, you have a much better chance of being found organically if your web pages are professionally constructed. To view the W3 standards for web page coding, by the way, go to https://www.w3.org/standards/ and start doing a little studying. Then go back and take a look at the coding of your web pages and do what you can to improve them. A couple of non-professional coding approaches being used that come to mind include overuse of JavaScript callouts, such as you find frequently in WordPress widgets, older versions of the Adobe Flash Player, building non-responsive mobile-compliant web pages, not adding the final / in a web domain address, and slow-loading pages that could be caused by a number of things, like building fat web pages, insertion of large-sized images and videos, non-closed tags in your code, etc. I have built web pages both ways, by the way. When I started out with my own site, I was in a hurry to get up and running, so I bought a couple of templates, learned them, and published them. I could never get any decent amount of traffic to come to these sites organically, so as I found the time to rework the sites, basically, for me, this meant rewriting them completely and natively from scratch, I started to see my organic search results start to improve. By the way, remember to ask search engines to recrawl revamped web pages once your rework is done. Otherwise, they might still sit there without activity for months and even years into the future. In summary, remember to do the things that keep search engine spiders happy. As you grow, one idea is also to be sure to put a robots.txt file on your site. Other ideas include: within the robots.txt file, give additional instructions to the spiders crawling your online locations. Search engines like this. Next, you want to clean up all hard and soft error 404s for missing web pages and links. You want to minimize or eliminate the JavaScript callouts on your web pages. Keep your sitemaps current. Whenever you make significant changes to a page, look for web page meta tag duplications across 2 or more pages and fix them. This sometimes happens if you copy one page to be used for another one that you're creating and you forget to update the meta tags in the newly created page. You also want to check to ensure that your page loading speeds remain within acceptable parameters, so test for this. Check your web server activity logs from time to time to see if spiders are actually crawling your site. And if you are technical enough, or your webmaster is, run your own spiders against your own sites to see if they are working properly and are not blocking spiders unnecessarily so they feel they have to quit and leave your site unindexed. That's all for this lecture. Bye for now.